I would agree with Charles on a lot of points. And, I think the goal here is to build these new systems in a way that can serve the most people. And I think he made a really good insight about user levels. This is sort of how technology works today. My own view is that what we're going to see is more and more protocols built on top of each other. So you buy a computer. The computer is hardware. It's a platform itself. You have an operating system that works on top of the computer hardware. The operating system has a number of different technology stacks. Let's say you're in the Apple technology stack, or you can use the Google technology stack, and that's sort of a third layer. And then on top of that, Google offers a huge plethora of applications from its App Store. And most people are here at the fourth level. They're not in the hardware, they're not in the OS, they're not even in the tech stack, they're using those end user applications. And so that's sort of what I've described for those that have read my decentralized applications white paper, is I see these different layers emerging for the Bitcoin ecosystem. Is we can think of Bitcoin as that bottom layer, we can build layers on top of that make things easy to build, and then most people will be at that third or fourth layer where the users end up going. And so that's really where it gets exciting. And so we're really early days considering Bitcoin is that first layer, and here we're talking really about that second layer. Right. On top of that technology. We're just, I think in 2015, 2016, going to get to that third and fourth layer, and that's really where you hit mass market.
So I'm actually going to jump into another question. I'm going to get you to go ahead and answer it there. Is that, so what you guys have been talking about, and I guess I'm just pointing at someone, and that's not going to really, that's not going to transfer here on the radio. So Daniel, what I would like to talk about is that, so let's say that this 18-month period's gone by, and we have this mass adoption somewhere of the DAC. So why don't we give us a look into the future? Let's look at 5 years down the road. What is it going to look like? What are we going to see here in the world? Because someone's going to win. This technology is out of the box. Someone's going to do this. So what are we going to see? What's going to be different for a normal person, and how is this going to affect them?
I don't think someone's going to win. I think everyone's going to win.
That's a good way to put it.
And you asked earlier whether or not we were worried about someone replacing us. And my primary vision is to teach how to make all these things happen. And I believe that there are so many creative ideas. It's like going back to the beginning of the internet and imagining Google and Facebook and all these things that happen. You can't predict 5 years out because things are moving so quickly. And my personal mission in all of this is to secure the life, liberty, and property of everyone through decentralized solutions. And we're all going to win, no matter what.
Okay, so I'm not going to hold any of you guys to this, okay? But what I want here is I want sort of some, pie in the sky, big ideas of how this is going to make it all better, okay? And take it out as far as you need to, 50 years in advance. Tell me what life could possibly be like if everything went well.
Where I am going is a world where all interaction with our fellow man is entirely voluntary, where you no longer need to rely on government to settle disputes. In fact, decentralized technologies will make governments entirely irrelevant, ineffective in being able to do anything, because we now have, with communication, the ability to communicate with everyone in the world, and an ability to reach a global consensus about who owns what and how to settle disputes and how to do coordinated decentralized justice without having to rely on taxation or force.
I can hear the cheers from New Hampshire from here, actually. I can already hear them.
That is my mission. I have various decentralized applications, dozens of them, on a roadmap of how to get there from where we are today. And it's going to be an amazing new world. And my primary goal is to teach people how to apply these principles, because I know that I don't have enough creativity to see everything that's going to happen. But I do believe that we are eventually, the free market will find a way to provide that particular good and service, security and protection of all of our property from everyone, including organized crime like governments.
Awesome. David, tell where are we going, man?
All right. Put my preacher hat on.
And if you guys can't tell this over the radio, we have a big crowd here. We have packed the studio out. People are interested in this, and that's fantastic.
So let me imagine with you a world where the idea, if you have one job, is antiquated. In fact, even the idea that you would go to one place or work on one project for years at a time is entirely antiquated to the way we think in this future world. Because if I can immediately earn tokens for whatever value I'm contributing, if I'm contributing to a decentralized Dropbox by the 3 terabytes sitting on my desktop, or if I'm contributing to a new application by writing some of the code, I'm immediately getting compensated with those tokens, which, unlike stock in a company, are immediately liquid. I can sell them on any exchange in the world, and it can immediately turn into any other asset or any other fungible currency. And so imagine a world where you don't need to have a job in the traditional sense or earn equity in the traditional sense, but you can participate in all these decentralized communities and all these decentralized applications, whether it be the decentralized Dropbox, the decentralized Amazon, the decentralized whatever you're doing, you can be universally compensated for that in a way that you're talking about, where arbitration and courts become a thing of the past. And that's, I firmly believe, where we're headed. The first people that are going to get there are the programmers and the people that have these abilities that can immediately be put into use. But as this gets to higher and higher levels, you have more and more everyday things built on top of all these layers that everybody can participate in, whether they know a line of code or whether they're just doing their everyday thing. That's, I think, where we're going.
All right.
I have no idea. I want to build tools that give the world the ability to tell me what's going to happen. I don't have an economic philosophy here. We've tried to pick a balance in basically everything that we've done and everything we've designed. We have no features. The goal here isn't to remove governments. The goal here isn't to change the world. The goal is to give the people who want to change the world the ability to do that, no matter where they live, in a completely transparent way. And also the goal is to get the people who want to change the world to collaborate with each other, to talk to each other, and to have these experiments run in a very transparent way. That's my goal. That's what I want. I can't predict the future. No one can. No one has ever been able to do that. IBM would be a pretty rich company right now. Well, I guess they're rich, but they'd own Microsoft and Intel if they could predict that. There's so many examples of these people. Look at Xerox, for heaven's sakes. Instead, all I want to do is say, come to me. And I want to make that experience so magical and so insanely great that everybody just wants to come to me and build the new world on top of this platform. That's my goal.
Okay, so two things here. One is that I would like to say that you guys all have interesting propositions, but as I have said before, I think that Dogecoin is going to institute a Turing-complete scripting language in there, and I think that is totally, much Turing mini-complete, and I think that's going to make all of you guys irrelevant. Okay, but so something you guys, all three of you had said, and it's cool because it makes things a little simpler here. But you've all used the term me and I and things like that. But you all have awesome teams. Like you guys all have great people that you're working with. So can we just take a minute and talk about the people that you guys work with that are helping build these projects? It can't be here. I run into this all the time, right? So I am Jason King from Sean's Outpost. So people think that Sean's Outpost is Jason King, and that's not true. Sean's Outpost is a ton of people. Like Jason King is not in Pensacola right now, and guess what? People are still getting fed right now. So let's talk about your team, and if that's cool. If you guys could just take a minute, talk, just about that.
We got a really wonderful team. So on the fiduciary members side, there's myself, Anthony DiOrio, who's the executive director of the Bitcoin Alliance of Canada. He did Satoshi Circle. He does CryptoKit, which, by the way, is one of the most amazing applications. You need to download it. It's incredible. So he does CryptoKit. We obviously have Vitalik, who I guess has developed the reputation of some sort of android from the future sent back in time to save us from the dystopian government. He's an amazing guy.
I've heard that one.
It's true. Yeah, Vitalik 802134. They're going to make a graphic novel. So Vitalik is absolutely amazing. And then we have Mihai. He's works for Bitcoin Magazine. He does Agora. He's a really, really phenomenal person. And then kind of the ecosystem that we surround ourselves with, we have a really healthy balance of people. We have some quantitative analysts like Dr. Emmanuel Costa, who worked for Goldman Sachs. He's running a hedge fund in Asia. And we have Joe Lubin, who also is helping us out on the financial side. They're actually studying how to implement clearinghouses and do everything you'd want to do on Wall Street on Ethereum to see if the scripting language is robust. We have some great marketing people like John Mohan, who's really helping us build a community. We thought that was really important from day one to bring people in to interface with communities. Gosh, there's so many people on the list. I think we have a total of 15 or 20 core developers. There's Dr. Gavin Wood, who's a game developer. He's built game engines. I think he got his PhD in computer science, and he specialized in taking and he's going to be really angry at me because I'm going to get it terribly wrong. But taking basically algorithms to visualize music, and he's done some absolutely amazing things. He wrote our entire C++ client in a period of like 6 or 7 days while drinking some Robert Mondavi. So he's the kind of guy that you want to get to know. We even have a few philosophers, and we even invited Tatiana. She did the Bitcoin song. She was at our beach house that we rented, and we had some fun. So it's been really an amazing experience to be on this team. In fact, I think it's the best team that I've ever been on in my entire life with any project that I've ever worked on, just because there's just so much passion and diversity. There's so much clarity of thought. And there's so much vision, which is so rare. There's so much vision in this team. And my hope is we can continue to attract that as we move forward and work with people who have vision, like the people here.
Yep. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I'll give a quick shout out to Peter Todd, our chief scientist
He's great.
At the foundation. A lot of people know Peter Todd from his work as a Bitcoin core developer. Really respect a lot of the things he's done, and he's been going after this question of Bitcoin scalability and how do you properly embed metadata for a while now. So really glad to get him involved in the foundation. Our executive director for the foundation is Ron Gross. A lot of folks know him as Ripper234 from the Bitcoin Talks forums, based in Israel, real great guy. Very passionate, very experienced in the space. Also want to talk about J.R. Willett, of course, wrote the original paper. It's been exciting to see he's recently come full-time on the project and been able to leave the day job, which is the vision of every founder ever. So I also want to talk about Sam Yilmaz, sits on our board. He's one of the co-founders of BitAngels. Michael Turpin leads all our media stuff. He's also another co-founder of BitAngels, the guy that back in the 1.0 days of the internet founded MarketWire, the company, the first internet company to do PR stuff. Also want to talk about a few of the other board members. A lot of people know Brock Pierce, who's sort of the grandfather of virtual currency, having been doing this since the late 90s, the early 2000s. So a lot of people know Brock, Jonathan Yantis, also Anthony Vo, all very passionate. And so it's been great as we brought on more and more core developers. Craig Sellers recently came on as the sort of CTO of the foundation full-time. And so we've similarly, just the team has been exploding. We've now got, I think, north of 10 or 15 full-time developers. Marin, a lot of people know from, he has created the most popular Mastercoin wallet, and there are 3 or 4 other great core developers. I'm going to forget a few names, but it's really been exciting to work with a team that had that varied and interesting talents.
I'm working with a great team that's growing very rapidly. We've got so many people, I can't even name them all, working all over the world on many different things. Bo Shen is a Chinese partner of ours. He's handling all the China aspect of it. We have a huge community in China. He's doing it all on his own. It's wonderful to be able to work with people that are autonomous and just make things happen. They're great partners. Recently, Brian Page joined us, met him in Vegas, and he's been completely revamping our marketing in a way that you guys are going to appreciate in the coming days and in the year ahead. Arlen has come on board, and he's going to help us manage all of our bounties, organize all the technical teams. And, of course, Dan Notestein, he's a CEO for another company that is basically has a whole team in Poland of developers that he's heading up to help develop and manage Coyote and BitShares and all these things. So we've got an incredible team. It's growing, and I'm very excited.
I can't forget Tyreek Lewis, who's in the audience, our smart property lead. Otherwise, I'd be remiss.
And actually, I forgot to mention Wendell from Hive is also in the audience, and he's been working so very closely with. I'm sorry, Wendell, for not mentioning it. I feel really bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I'd like to take advantage of the fact that we have a bunch of great people in the audience right now, too. So if you guys are cool, I'm going to open it up to some questions, and we're going to take some questions. Is that cool?
Great.
Sure. Anybody got anything? I just gave you... Okay, cool. Thank you.
Stan Lermer. I just was very impressed with each one of you who were basically talking about how well you cooperate together.
Right.
And I'm just wondering if maybe you could talk about, is there some way this wonderful triumvirate here can put together some type of a joint project that can show how you can work together?
Okay, so I want to restate this because I don't know how well that's getting picked up on the mic. But so basically, the gentleman said, okay, just for my own peace of mind, the gentleman said he was very impressed with all three of you. Is there some way we can get a super group together and you guys can all riff and you guys can work on a project together? Is that something?
Right. Yeah. Well, a few months ago, I did have a plan to establish the cryptocurrency research group with Virginia Tech, and we never quite could get that accomplished. But I think there are a set of common problems in this ecosystem, no matter who you are, Bitcoin, BitShares, or Ethereum, like blockchain bloat, coin fungibility, the idea of the user experience of mobile clients, how you want to handle mobile clients and that trust model that we all suffer from. 80% of the world's on mobile, and Bitcoin doesn't do mobile very well. So I think that's a really natural place of collaboration for everybody in this space, is to invest some money into resolving these kinds of problems. We're going to probably take the lead on that, and we're going to make it very easy for a lot of people to join quickly in a way that we can distribute these costs. And not just for us. I think these are problems that BitPay and Coinbase and other large companies that are starting to get a lot of revenue can participate in. That's number one. Number two, I think we're already all participating in CODA.
Yeah.
At least I got the memo on that. So So we're already working together on legal projects and regulation, and we're going to try to help sculpt the legal definition of a decentralized autonomous organization. Because as much as we want to move everything to the cloud, governments still do have a kind of a say on how they respect smart property and those generic attacks in the system. And then also, we're going to work really closely with people to try to build things on top of Ethereum when that adds value to both parties. I think there's a really strong value proposition for both Color Coins and Mastercoin in certain respect that would benefit both their investors and also their core mission. And so we'll be in talks at some point with Dave and other people in the project about if we can do that. And I think there's definitely room for DAx. Right now, there's no point-click, one-click way of doing DAx. Library is a good start, but I'd really like to improve the user experience as much as possible. So I think we might collaborate on the libraries and might collaborate on the approach, if anything, just to ensure interoperability between what you're doing and what we're doing. So absolutely, Stan, I think that's a very good question, and I think over the next 6 months, you'll be really happy with the amount of collaboration we have.
Stan, the man that coined the term DAC
absolutely.
in the first place.
Yeah, he is the man who coined the term decentralized autonomous corporation.
Though it seems, it may be helpful to note for the community, it seems like everybody's moving away from corporation as a frame.
Right.
I know you guys are talking about decentralized communities, DA consensus mechanisms, and I think that's important just to spend a moment on, and this is something we've all been talking about. It's part of why I put my white paper out there and made the argument for decentralized applications, is we want to be careful. Language is really important, and setting precedent is really important. And these are entities that have no employees, they have no shares, they make no profit, they're not incorporated anywhere. I mean, the protocol itself. And so I'm trying to move it to a frame and where it's something more tangible to people and something more accurate. And so applications, given it literally is a piece of software I'm downloading on my computer and using like a regular application, is a good frame to use. And so there's not a perfect consensus yet on what the heck we're going to call these things, but I think we're moving towards the right frame and thinking. We're all thinking about that. So yeah, Charles highlighted the CODA partnership. I think that's really important. Right. And I was just talking to Peter Todd yesterday about the research we can do together on the consensus stuff. And so I think there's going to be a lot of cross-collaboration between the projects.
Yeah. I like DAO, by the way, because I can write the book, The Tao of DAO.
The Tao of DAO.
Yeah, The Tao of DAO.
The Tao of DAO. I thought there were going to be shirts here.
Yeah.
The Tao of DAO.
The Tao of DAO.
It may have already been printed.
Well, it's better than The Tao of Poo.
What I would like to see us work together is to focus on taking these really good ideas and making them self-sustaining. All living organisms need to produce more than they consume, or they eventually consume themselves and die. And therefore, all of these decentralized autonomous, I'm calling them companies because that's a concept instead of a corporation, which is a legal entity. Right. They do earn a profit based upon the services they provide and how the transaction fees they're charging. So I believe what we can bring to the table is taking some of our software tools that do Ripple-style consensus combined with a new form of proof of stake, with something like the Ethereum's Turing-complete pay-as-you-go calculation engine, and to build more efficient systems that are actually as profitable as can be so that they can be as viral, self-sustaining, and economically efficient as can be. And if I can bring anything to the group and to the community, it's actually to teach the economics of building self-sustaining systems.
Rock on.
Well said.
Next question, anybody?
So what do you think of the joke, the running joke that a decentralized autonomous corporation could in 10, 15 years merge and grow and become the next Skynet? So what do you think of this whole decentralized autonomous corporations run amok? Once you give computers the ability to run themselves, won't they own us?
Let me address that. There's been a lot of confusion about what a decentralized autonomous company can do. And all it really is a means of people to coordinate a consensus, to reach an agreement about the state of things. And there's a difference between what I like to call a vending machine, which can be thought of as a centralized robot that goes and has some business, and with these decentralized autonomous companies, which are all about consensus and information. They can do nothing on their own except allocate or reallocate balances within their blockchain. The goal is to engineer economic outcomes, economic incentives to motivate people to take the actions necessary to implement the business without having any one person in control. So a system like you're talking about, where it becomes an artificial intelligence taking over the world, Skynet type situation, is more like a vending machine run amok than a decentralized autonomous company.
Yeah, you would totally need a Turing-complete scripting system and a decentralized currency to do that. So,
well, I've actually thought about this a lot, and maybe this is a controversial idea, but my view of AI is that people will still be at the center. Like, we're still giving the AI a will. We're imbuing it with goals and desires. And the program, at least from the AI development I've seen so far, nobody's really solved the hard AI problem. And so we're getting better and better and more advanced languages and more computational power. And I actually do think in the next 20, 30 years, we'll cross that point where the majority of the world's thinking is done by machines. If you just pure number of calculations in brains versus number of calculations in machines. But I actually think that's a good thing. That's similar to the tipping point of the Industrial Revolution, when before the Industrial Revolution, the majority of labor on Earth was done by people or was done by livestock. And today, the majority of thinking on Earth is done by people, even if it's repetitive or very manual or very rudimentary sort of thinking. People still have to do it because computers aren't that good. And I think when we cross that, that'll be a huge benefit to humanity. But I think we'll still be at the center, and we'll be imbuing it with goals and will and all that thing.
Can I say one more thing on that topic real quick? About people being in the center. A lot of the technologies we're building with BitShares involve prediction markets. You can think about it as a global human mind, where the prices are the coordinating factor, where you can price anything, abstract ideas, patents. You can figure out how to allocate resources. And so all of human effort will now be coordinated through a decentralized consensus mechanism by prices. So it basically takes the intelligence of each and every human and combines them all together to be something more intelligent than any artificial AI could possibly be.
Yeah, but truthfully, isn't that what the robots would tell you to tell us? I'm seriously.
I'm actually a robot.
Well, I believe that.
Well,
man.
I for one welcome our machine overlords. But I mean, it's there's a lot of wonderful projects in academia and in private industry that have done some amazing things, like Deep QA with David Ferrucci over at Watson. We got to watch a wonderful Jeopardy episode. Pete Morgan is doing great work at Carnegie Mellon University with NEL, this whole idea of building a program that can read the internet. And there's a lot of government projects as well as academic ideas that have come around. I think that the notion of strong AI requires a different unit of computation. So we can build with a Turing-complete system a lot of things that emulate human behavior, that do a lot of amazing, that make a lot of amazing decisions. But I don't think we can actually get cognition without a better unit of computation. So I'm not terribly worried about any of these systems implementing that. But I think it's a noble goal. I think Dave's right. Generally, when you build these kinds of technology, they tend to make our lives better. If you think about the standard of living today globally for the entire world, it's significantly better than it was in the beginning of the 19th century, than it was in the beginning of the 20th century. So this progress tends to make it easier to live well, regardless of where you're from and how many resources you have available. So my conjecture is that strong AI could actually do the same thing. But that's something for Ray Kurzweil and other guys to kind of figure out. I'm just building Android here.
All right, let's do one more question and we'll wrap it up.
When all of these technologies together lead us towards a future in which there is no scarcity for humankind on Earth, what will it mean to live a life on Earth? What will the
We go deep here at the end.
Oh, yeah.
We go deep.
Yeah, so a scarcity-free economy like the Venus Project, resource-based. I don't know. I mean, economics is like the study of scarcity, right? So I guess we just look at the models and we remove the scarcity factor.
I know something that will still be scarce: our time.
Oh, there you go.
Right. So even if, just look at what's happened with agriculture, right? We've moved from a society where 95% of people were involved in agriculture to 2 to 4% of industrialized countries are involved in the agriculture. And so we've shifted from first agriculture, then to industry, and now to services. And most services that you won't be able to replace are ones that are time-based. People will still need nannies. People will still need people to do the physical things that are interacting with other people. It's it's more of a knowledge and experience-based economy. You still want to go kayaking yourself and not, outsource that to somebody else, right? So, there's a lot of things like that where our time is still scarce. And so if you want some of my time, it becomes more and more the most important resource, or less restricted by oil or wood.
But once we download our souls into DACs, then time's going to free up too, right? It's not going to be so scarce, and then we're going to really be living in a truly scarce-free society, right?
Well, that depends if it pays dividends or not.
Well, as long as there's enough profit motive, I'm sure someone will come up with a flux capacitor and solve the time issue.
Exactly.
1.21 gigawatts. Sorry.
But I don't believe that there's always going to be, human demand is insatiable. There's always going to be scarcity for what people actually want. There's going to be scarcity of spaceships to go travel the universe. And therefore, that's what people are going to be working toward. So I think that's the case.
That's great. I said I was going to end it there, but I want to do one more thing. Okay, I want you guys to just go through real quickly, okay, and say your company again and tell me how I can get involved. Tell me how, like, if I'm interested and I want to get it, what I could go do right now to go take a stake in your company.
Hi, I'm Charles Hoskinson. I'm a core developer on the Ethereum project. We'd like you to go to ethereum.org, ethereum.org.
All right.
I'm David Johnston, and I'm one of the board directors for the Mastercoin Foundation. And you can go to mastercoin.org to go to the community website, and we have a separate foundation website, which is just mastercoinfoundation.org. For those that want to see all the transparent records, everything is public record with the foundation, whether it's our books or the developers working on it or all of the development discussion. So really just encourage you to engage. We don't run any exchanges ourselves, so you can't get MSC through either of those websites, but there's a link to the wiki that lists all of the different exchanges that trade Mastercoin for Bitcoin. So all those links are at mastercoin.org.
Okay.
My name is Dan Larimer with BitShares and Invictus Innovations. You can visit us at invictus.io. Check out our new website. It's dramatically improved over what we've had in the past. And if you want to get involved in the future of decentralized businesses, you should look into our angel addresses.
Guys, this has been a lot of fun. I mean, I think that I've had a lot of fun here running this panel. Thank you guys for all coming out here. And everyone that's here, I want you guys to just realize that this is Like, we're on the cusp of something here. You know, you're going to look back at this conversation and these conversations in this weekend, 5-10 years from now, and we're just going to be like, wow, that was it. We were right there, right before everything went crazy. So thanks for everybody for coming out. All right. This has been a Let's Talk Bitcoin production.